Some stories are dangerous. There are books out there that your government doesn't want you to read. They want you spending your free time reading frivolous fluff. Stories that entertain you without challenging you. Because they know that the best stories around are the stories that have the potential to change you. Stories are magical. Stories teach you valuable life lessons. Stories change public opinion. They change society. They change the world. It sounds dramatic, but it's the truth. And that's why stories like V for Vendetta are dangerous, but in a good way. The premise for V for Vendetta is nothing special. We follow the anonymous, masked revolutionary known as V, and Evie, the teenage girl he saves in the opening scene. Together, they work to topple the totalitarian regime that rules the United Kingdom with an iron fist. You're probably more familiar with the movie. I watched it when it came out. It was good. I really liked it. Edgy teenage me thought it was brilliant. But let me tell you this, the graphic novel is so much better. A lot of fans of the graphic novel hate on the film, and after reading the original source material, I totally understand why. The movie is very American-centric. V is a hero figure with traditional liberal values working to overthrow a neoconservative dictatorship. V is trying to inspire a revolution. He beats up the bad guys with his bad A martial arts skills, gives a few speeches that use a lot of V words, and it's a good story. A great story even. But it's too safe. It's too tame. It's too mainstream. It's too acceptable. The graphic novel is a story of radicalization. The real central message is one that no government wants its citizens to really think about: anarchy and revolution. As an American, revolution is literally a part of our origin story. We take pride in that. The idea of revolution is romanticized, but anarchy, that's a bad thing. The word comes with a lot of negative connotations, which is interesting because almost always revolution and anarchy accompany each other. Revolution is noble, but anarchy is an evil to be avoided at all costs. Those in power have done a very good job at framing anarchy in a negative way, because if you could make the unhappy masses avoid anarchy at all costs, then you make revolution essentially impossible. Needless to say, V for Vendetta sparked a lot of conversation. The graphic novel makes the reader think about a lot of very big questions. Questions like, do the ends justify the means? What do we do when what is legal and what is moral are in opposition? And is political violence legitimate political action? I don't know about you, but in my experience, my subjective, limited, personal experience, it seems like in the 2020s, a majority of people in the West truly believe that the ends justify the means. And this seems to be a big cultural shift from when I was in middle school in the early 2010s. When you look at the discourse surrounding current events, it seems apparently clear that most of us think the system is failing us. And the system is failing us, it is because something is wrong with the system. After I finished this graphic novel, it was very clear to me that V for Vendetta is a story that was written for times like these. It's a story that tells the reader that if your government is tyrannical or unfair or unjust, that ultimately it's your fault. Alan Moore is pleading with the reader to take accountability for your own lot in life. If something is wrong with your country, you should do something about it. You can always do something. Sometimes all it takes is a little creativity, a little courage, and a little vigilantism. I think everybody should be reading this graphic novel. We should all read things that make us uncomfortable. We should all read things that take us out of our comfort zone. What are some books that took you out of your comfort zone? Leave them in the comments below. I'm looking for reads that challenge me, that change me, and make me a little uncomfortable. One thing I love about this story is that Alan Moore wasn't trying to win in the court of public opinion. He was trying to expand the Overton window. That is what radicals do. That is what radical fiction does. For the non political science nerds out there, the Overton window is the royal court of public opinion. Speak within it, and you're a wise courtier. Speak outside it, and you're a heretic, dragged to the stocks by a mob armed with tweets and pitchforks. There are mainstream ideas that people are comfortable discussing, and fringe ideas that most people never want to discuss. Ideas like anarchy, vigilantism, and revolution. Expanding the Overton window is a very important thing that radical literature must do. Radical literature allows us to discuss controversial things in a way that creates distance. You can't just go up to your friends and talk to them about anarchy and overthrowing the government. But you could talk about how books like V for Vendetta are thought provoking and how they really open your eyes to things that are different, that are outside of the mainstream. I'm basically saying that it's okay if you read V for Vendetta and don't want to overthrow the government, but you will think about it. Perhaps even ponder for a few hours about what your own personal line in the sand is. It's incredibly impressive to me that this graphic novel was published in the 1980s. Alan Moore wrote it in response to Margaret Thatcher becoming Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. He feared that her election would be a tipping point towards a conservative, ethnocentric, traditionalist dictatorship. I mean, we could all agree that he jumped the gun. But if we're taking bets, I'm always going to put my money on our government's going to extreme lengths to increase their power. I'll take that bet every time. But Alan Moore, at this moment, has been proven incorrect. It's been almost 40 years since V for Vendetta was published, and the UK is still not a dictatorship. But just because it hasn't happened doesn't mean it won't happen. That's the thing about making predictions. If they're rational and possible, there's a good chance you'll end up being right eventually. Like The Simpsons, they've predicted a lot of things. You throw enough darts at the wall, you're going to hit a bullseye. Because I'm a poli-sci nerd, it is important to me that I say that V for Vendetta is not an in-depth study of the philosophical framework of anarchism as an ideology. Anarchy is the actual condition of no government, while anarchism is the ideology opposed to oppression and exploitation that is theorized to only be able to exist in a state of no government. This graphic novel is more of an argument for the use of anarchy as a reset when society passes the point of no return. Moore argues that a state of anarchy is preferable to an orderly oppression. Chaos can often be a ladder to better things. I found the story incredibly persuasive. I'm not rocking a Guy Fawkes mask and overthrowing the government anytime soon, but who knows what the future may bring. No matter your political leanings, I think you'll get a lot of value and entertainment out of V for Vendetta. Taking ownership for your lot in life can be empowering. We naturally try to avoid consequences and accountability, but sometimes that's the price one pays for freedom. An uncertain, chaotic future is sometimes preferable to a pessimistic, orderly future. Alan Moore warns the reader that the day will come when we will have to roll the dice.